Hi, Candace. Today we're reading Seven Golden Rings, a tale of music and math. It's written by Rajani LaRocca, and the pictures are by Archana Sreenivasan. Long ago, there lived a kind Rajah who ruled over vast lands. He loved music and gathered the finest players and singers to perform in his court. But the Rajah had no interest in planning or calculating and did not manage his kingdom's food stores and accounts. So people suffered. Bhagat and his mother lived in a dusty village in the far corner of the Rajah's kingdom. Their days were filled with toil and hunger, but they planned and saved to make their meager means stretch further. And Bhagat, who loved to sing, filled their nights with song. One day, Bhagat saw something that gave him hope. For 1 week only, the Rajah calls on musicians to audition for the royal troupe. Amma, soon we'll starve. I must seek our fortune and win a place with the Rajah. You are still young, Bhagat's mother, and only the most skilled musicians will be chosen for the Rajah's troupe. The journey will be long, and what will happen if you fail? But Bhagat would not change his mind. This is our only chance. I must win the Rajah's favor with my singing. Eventually, Bhagat's mother relented. She gave him 1 rupee, the last they had, and a chain of 7 tiny golden rings. This is what remains of my wedding necklace. I've sold it ring by ring so we could eat. Use it to change our fortune. Remember, Bhagat, you are a fine singer, but you are an even finer thinker. Consider all you have to offer the Rajah. Gave Bhagat her blessing. Bhagat sang as he walked all day. In his head he heard a rhythm of whole notes, tan, and half notes, tha, and quarter notes, thaka. So many ways to divide a whole. As long as he had music, Bhagat never felt alone. He reached the city and found a small inn. 10 rupees a night, including dinner, said the innkeeper. But Bhagat only had 1 rupee. Sir, may I work for my stay? I'm sorry, no. Bhagat revealed the 7 golden rings. They glimmered in twilight. 7 rings for 7 nights. Hand them over, said the innkeeper's wife. But Bhagat didn't know how many nights he would remain in the city. If the Rajah called him the next day, he would have to spend all 7 rings when he only needed 1. Madame, may I pay when I leave and only for the days I stayed? You must pay for each night in advance, 1 ring per night. Divide them if she must, she said, flinging her sari over her shoulder. There's a goldsmith nearby, whispered the innkeeper. I can separate them all for 5 rupees, said the goldsmith. But I only have 1. 1 rupee, 1 link broken. Bhagat thought and thought. If he broke the first link, he would have a single ring and a chain of 6. That would work for 1 night, but what would he do if the Rajah didn't call him the next day? He would need to give up the rest of the necklace, when perhaps only 1 more ring would do. Maybe he could break the second link? With some wiggling, he could free it from the first. He would have 2 single rings and a chain of 5. But if he needed to stay more than 2 nights, he would have to give the innkeeper all the remaining rings. Bhagat was determined to not waste a single precious ring of his mother's wedding necklace. How could he pay the innkeeper 1 ring each night if he couldn't separate them all? Bhagat wandered the city. Remember, Bhagat, you are a thinker. He heard the rhythm in his head. Tan, tha, taka. So many ways to divide a whole. Suddenly, he knew what to do. He raced back and had the goldsmith break the 3rd link. 7 gold rings became 1 ring by itself, a chain of 2, and a chain of 4. Bhagat gave the innkeeper the single ring and begged him not to sell it right away. Next day, he waited at the palace, but was not called. That night, he asked for a single ring back and handed over the chain of 2. Each morning, Bhagat went to the palace. He waited and thought of his mother, alone and hungry. Each evening, he returned to the inn. On the third night, Bhagat gave the innkeeper a single ring to join the two. Fourth night, he took 3 rings back and gave him the chain of 4. The fifth night, he gave him a single ring to join the 4. On the sixth night, he took back and handed over the chain of 2. On the 7th night, Bhagat gave up the last gold ring. This was all that Amma and I had left. May God give you luck with the Rajah tomorrow. The sun sank on the final day. Bhagat was called to sing at last. He sang of parched land, quenched by cooling rains, long journeys on tired feet, and the love of a family more precious than gold. You're good, but not polished enough, said the Rajah. Return next year. Bhagat had risked everything, and now he had nothing. Oh, Rajah, do not let him go, cried a voice from the crowd. It was the innkeeper's wife. He may not sing to your liking, but this young man can think. He devised a plan to divide his necklace into a single ring, a chain of 2, and a chain of 4, and then combine them in just the right ways to ensure he never overpaid for his room. Oh, Rajah, he may be just the person you need to help run your estate. Ah, said the Rajah, do I need such a person? My Rajah, said Bhagat, as this honorable woman has just said, I came here with only 7 golden rings. Because I planned and calculated, I was able to avoid wasting even one. I have experience in making the smallest treasures last as long as possible. It would be the highest honor to help you do the same for our people. Impressive thinking, said the Rajah. Bhagat, will you stay? Bhagat arrived home at dusk the next day. Amma, our fortune has changed. So you're the Rajah's singer? No, Amma, you were right. I will be the Rajah's thinker. From then on, Bhagat and his mother lived at the palace. Bhagat planned and saved so all the Rajah's people prospered. Days were filled with hard work and abundance. Bhagat filled their nights with song. The end. And then there's a note about different number systems, including binary, which is how he divided the rings, and what computers use. Well, pandas, that story had quite the riddle. Hope you liked it. Have a nice day. Bye.